platform published last November by Patrick Brown, and we don't know how much of it is going to survive into the next election, into the new platform of the next leader. But you know, for those of us who are not as close to this as you are, I mean, I'm hearing we won't do a carbon tax. Some people think we already have a carbon tax. We hear talk about cap and trade. We hear talk that it's a federal thing, it's a provincial thing. News is coming out of Saskatchewan that they're not doing one. So I guess that's what it kind of looks like and sounds like to people who aren't in your space.
Right.
So maybe to start, we do have something called the Climate Change Initiative that we are dealing with, right?
Yep.
So can you just give people kind of the 101 on where Ontario is at today?
Sure, and it is a good question because there is a lot of, I think a lot of confusing terms out there right now. But Ontario does have a carbon pricing system in place right now, and they've had it, it's the cap and trade system, and it's been in place since January 2017. After extensive consultation with the public, with industry, in terms of whether to go with a carbon tax or to go with cap and trade. So it basically, what cap and trade is it's a market mechanism, a market system that allows the government to put a hard cap on the greenhouse gas emissions that are coming from our business and industry, but allows flexibility in terms of how those businesses and industries can meet that cap. And the cap itself it puts a limit on the tons of carbon that can be emitted from the different facilities in the province.
So from a factory, an office building, everyone's going to have a number.
For the different sectors that are included in the cap and trade program. So that includes most industrial emitters that emit more than 25,000 tons. You can opt in if you like, but the focus is on that group, as well as natural gas generators. So what that cap that's in place, it's supposed to decline over time. So in Ontario right now, the compliance period started in 2017. It'll wrap up in 2020. We'll move on to the next compliance period, but for this first period, that cap will decline around 4% every year. So if facility A finds itself above its cap, it has to go to the market to purchase allowances or go to the auction that's been set up and buy enough allowances or carbon credits to cover off those extra emissions that they've emitted over their cap. And this is where that trade aspect comes in. So on the other hand, though, if a facility is below their cap that's been set for them, they can actually take those extra allowances and sell them back into the market. And essentially, if you pollute less, you pay less into the system.
So there's a financial incentive to pollute less and a financial penalty if you pollute more.
Right.
Okay, so Ontario's had some auctions with where these credits have been put up for sale, and they've been people have bought them, they're fully subscribed?
Yeah, so they've had, in the first year of the period, the first year of the compliance period was Ontario only, so they were trying it out to make sure that they got all the kinks out of the system, and so those first 4 auctions that took place last year, all but one were fully subscribed, and through that auction process, they raised $1.9 billion. And that money is not going to general revenue, it's not going to...
I can't have it for healthcare?
No, you can't have it for healthcare, but it can go to different initiatives in hospitals that will lead to energy efficiency. So that money is only going towards projects that will reduce greenhouse gas emissions or potentially offset future emissions.
And that's by legislation?
That's by legislation.
It must be spent in those areas?